lawn is the biggest carpet in the world, face it.
It looks beautiful. A green lawn, that's the best thing you can have.
If I could grow a jungle here, I would, with vines and everything.
The front lawn really is the interface between a person or a family and the world.
We made bonfires of gnomes and pink flamingos, and they were all destroyed.
Gnomes are wonderful. Gnomes should be put in every household.
We all have this, if you like, subconscious aesthetic or appreciation of what constitutes beauty in the landscape. It's a public statement of people's pride in their property, their house, their ownership. In a way, it's a statement of their identity.
I do a cosmetic treatment that colors brown or distressed lawn restores the color. It's totally non-toxic, environmentally safe. Once it's dry, it's color fast. It won't come off on your shoes or your pets or rub off under normal wear. We had a 7-year drought, and the homeowners watched their lawns wither and die. It was very emotional and painful for a lot of homeowners who were so conscientious about maintaining their lawns. And lawns have a good sense of integrity for a home. If you have a healthy, green-looking lawn, it shows pride of ownership, and it lets people know that you're conscientious.
This is my home that was painted green.
So what do you think?
I think it looks really good. I think my neighbors are going to be pretty darn jealous that I have such a green lawn and don't have to do anything with it.
I really enjoy the game croquet. It's real handy to have the court on your own yard. It's certainly nice as far as your wife's concerned. I'm not taking off somewhere to play. It is about 2 miles of walking every time you mow this lawn. And the nice thing is that I have to mow it every day. If I don't mow it every day, the grass is a complete mess relative to croquet and trying to mow it the following day.
You're cutting this even shorter?
Tomorrow. We're at 7/32 of an inch, and tomorrow we go to 3/16. As you get shorter and shorter, any little undulation becomes more obvious. And when you hit a croquet ball, you'd like it to go straight, and it will go straight on a not so good lawn until it starts to slow down, and then it will start to go to one side. And we would like ultimately to have a lawn that as the ball slows down, it still goes on the path that it was on before.
Do you think that you're obsessive about your lawn?
With mowing my lawn?
Yeah, and just taking care
No,
of
I
it.
don't think so. No, I'm not that type of person. Well, maybe I am. Obsessive.
So do you have a plan here?
A plan?
Yeah.
No, I don't have any plan. I just completed my plan. I seeded my wild grass and flowers, and that's it. Just watered occasionally, and that's it. And I'm off the hook. I mean, I have a piece of wilderness, and I don't have to bother with cutting grass anymore.
What's the bylaw on the length of the lawn?
It's 13 centimeters, Yeah, it is over the limit. Doesn't look unruly. I think it looks great.
So what do you think's going to happen? You're going against the law?
I'll probably be thrown in jail, and tortured or something like that. Will you cut your grass? No, I won't. 10 more lashes, Ah.
So what spooks you about the manicured lawn?
It just looks too boring, basically, Too boring for my mind. My eyes like to be entertained when I look at grass, This entertains me, I go, what's in here, What's in here? I much prefer this over this barren piece of concrete next to me, I wouldn't have that in my front lawn. It looks like a post-nuclear catastrophe area or something. I don't know. Something of that nature.
Right.
This is natural, you know.
What does this front yard say to you?
Hello, Joe. That's what it says to me. How you doing? Did you have a good day? I would go and say, yeah, a pretty good day or a rotten day. And they say, we're thirsty, so I have to water it or something, you know, or something like that. That doesn't talk to me. What do you think I am? I don't talk to my grass. What does that look like?
It takes about 2 hours to just cut it. And that's doing it with the tractor, and then there's edging the beds and using the string line trimmer and stuff like that. If you add it all together, it's probably about 4.5 hours just to sort of do the grass.
Susan, what kind of image do you think this front yard presents to the neighborhood?
He has no life.
What does that mean?
I'm curious too.
This is his life. His outside, his lawn, his property, whatever.
What motivates you to do this?
It's thoroughly enjoyable. It's extremely therapeutic. And when I do it, it's not work. It's very relaxing. Half hour, 45 minutes, and I'm sort of, all the knots are gone out of my stomach, and it's just me and...
Turns off the rest of the world.
Yeah.
He finishes dinner, and he changes his clothes. He comes outside, and he's out here 11, 11:30, midnight, pretty well every night. I don't know what he finds to do out here. I think sometimes it's just his escape, but it's every night too.
A lawn is the nearest thing to asphalt. I think they're ugly and anti-environmental and unecological and ridiculous, boring, ugly. I mean, the only advantage I can see in grass is that it's nice to lie on. But nobody lies on their front lawn. In fact, my garden is, in a way, a demonstration project of what you could do if you could only get your mind off green grass. It's a collection of stuff that either grew when I let the grass grow or that I've added to from wasteland or roadsides or any place where something looked as though it needed a good home. People walk by and say things like, oh, this reminds me of my childhood. Or they say, weeds, laziness, disgusting. And so people respond very strongly to it because it's out of the norm. I think people are really afraid of uncontrollable life that's different from human life, or even uncontrollable human life. And nature has to do with dirt and growth and spread and the things that you have to clear away to make your life clean and manageable.
What does this yard say about the kind of person you are?
I hope it would say that I'm a rather meticulous and finicky individual who's always trying to do a little better. I hope it would say that. It may say that I'm not.
Your neighbors say that you use a lot of pesticides and herbicides in your garden. Why is that?
I assist nature where I can, in the same way as a doctor assists his patient. If they get sick, the doctor's not going to say, well, that's tough bananas. He's going to give you, hopefully, a medicine. If I see a problem in my yard, I'll try and correct that problem.
Unfortunately, his sprays are not very discriminate as to where they go, and they end up drifting over to my side of the yard. Well, Norman, I see you were spraying again last night. Well, yes, my dear, we have to control these bugs. You know, Mother Nature needs a little hand. And I said, well, what happens when that hand starts to dissolve and drop off? You know, like I feel mine's about ready to do that. My dog, Mitzi, she developed a large polyp, and it was diagnosed as epithelial cancer. So if Mitzi has had a dose of cancer, well then why would I not also have the same problem in years to come?
I heard very recently about this cancer scare with Joyce's little dog, but did Joyce mention that she lets it swim in the lake, which is highly polluted? If it in fact has cancer, how does one know where and how this cancer developed? My dog hasn't got cancer or anything like that. At my last physical, I haven't got cancer.
Does he take you seriously?
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Not in the least.
Do you give Joyce some of your vegetables?
Yes, regularly. She loves our cucumbers and tomatoes.
I do have to admit, you know, there is a lot to be said for his spraying because he certainly does have the most perfect cucumbers and he does have the most perfect tomatoes. Are they for real?
And enjoy.
They look so perfect.
Thank you very much.
You've
Well, I hope you
tasted them.
enjoy them.
Do you eat them?
Well,
be honest.
No, I do not. I do not want to hurt Norman's feelings, but obviously he's going to find this out. I do not eat his produce. They're so perfect, they almost look like they're not real, but at the same time, am I eating the poison apple? I must say I'll probably have received my last tomato, carrot, and cucumber after this interview.
My interest area lies in the way that ordinary people express their cultural heritage in their gardens in ways that they're not necessarily consciously aware of.
Do you ever consider yourself an explorer?
Oh, in the old-fashioned sense of the word, I guess, yes. I think cultural geographers and human geographers are just as much explorers as when Alexander von Humboldt walked through various parts of South America. So the tradition of exploring the landscape is still very much a part of my discipline. One good way to think about this is to think of the garden, particularly the front garden of a house, as the transitional space between the private individual and the public. And that transitional space obviously reflects both the owner's view of what they wish to present to the public, but also the public's perception of the owner. People are making very bold public statements about who they are and what they are through that front garden, through that front yard.
I made the sculpture when I was a student at OCA, 4th year, and I needed to prove some things to myself, that I was strong enough to do it and that I wasn't a monster. So I did it.
And so what is it?
It's body cast. It's been carved since then, but the original form was body cast.
Body cast of who?
Of myself. So it took a lot of guts to do.
What did you discover when you made this sculpture?
That I could do it. That despite how I felt about myself, I could do something that made me very vulnerable and that took a lot of coordination working in a public place, working on a campus at OCA, and that I could make something that looked strong or that felt strong, not something that felt defeated.
Looks funny. Huge. So what do you think it says to have her here, out in the open, the front porch?
You are what you are. That's okay. You are what you are.
People say, Joe, how come you named that the drive-in theater of scarecrows? Well, I says, I think just as much as these people here as I do of the actors way down there in Hollywood. I gotta be careful. If I talk bad about one, the others will come right back and give it to me. You know, oh, it's unbelievable how they watch out for something like that. This fella here, Duncan. Well, he really brags about, look, they talk about rest home. This place beats them all. Now, he's one of the satisfied. And then you'll get others in the group where you find them in every walk of life. They'll answer, it's not that hot. For what we're paying here, the grub could be better. Margaret Thatcher, former Prime Minister of England. She always said, whenever I retire, no other place will there be than Joe's Drive-In Theater of Scarecrows. I'm going down there to finish my days. And she kept her word. Here she is today.
So she's happy here? Is she happy here?
Happy? Well, you can see, look at her face. The sign shows it right there. Happy. Yeah. Content. I pitied her when the stories came out over there in England against her and all that. Princess Diane here. When she arrived here, everybody was crying. I don't know how many boxes of Kleenex we used up. Poor Ethel. Everybody was crying, even myself. You know, I found that tough when she landed here. I'm beginning to get over it now. See? She loves it so well here. And over here, this one here, Teresa. Oh, she's not that bad, but it's pretty hard to get one of these guys for a night, huh? But she's getting her share. She's having a good time. You know, especially with him. He's not too fussy for women, this one here. You know? He's not the type, you know. You can see it in his face. Oh, well, it's not funny.
Joe, what do you think your life would be like without these scarecrows?
Life? There'd be no life at all down here in this area. What would I do without the scarecrows? That's the $64,000 question.
What I've observed around me is that for the most part, people that like to think they're working within a Christian framework or context, maybe on the surface are, but deep down, their system of beliefs is a materialist worldview as opposed to a supernatural worldview. We're sort of eliminating all the extremes and becoming more and more alike, and that I think that there's a general feeling around that we've got to genericize everything, homogenize it, make it all very much the same and very controllable.
So Jim, who are these people?
They're called these guys with ties transcendent. The suit and everything is the armor, right? It's a way of protecting yourself against the world. It's the way of showing everyone else you're okay and being able to hide from them who you really are, as well as, I think, with some people, hide from themselves who they really are. It's a way of convincing themselves they're okay because they have a uniform to put on every day. They know which team they belong to.
So that's also a little bit of a part of you too, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I really struggle. I really want to fit in. I mean, I'm not trying to say that here I am, the world's greatest individual. I want to fit in. I want to be accepted. But then within me is always that tension of who I really am, and it comes up at odds against who other people are or what the world around me is. And so it's always that struggle, that tension, the juxtaposition that I'm trying to work out. But yeah, I'm at peace realizing I'm one of these guys with ties. It doesn't bother me.
What neighborhood are we in now?
Well, we're in the similar kind of Anglo-Canadian neighborhood. But then in the middle of that one comes across this courtyard garden here with the lions and the wrought iron fences and the acorn. Pebbles, the stonework in the front, the low shrubbery, the fountains, very often used in people from southern Italy, from the drier regions, particularly around Calabria. The arcades, the Spanish element, Moorish element.
What about the lions?
Again, the lions are a neoclassical feature. They're facing inwards, indicating that the head of the house lives in this
house. All right, so southern Italy. This is what your
this is what my best guess is. Yes.
So how about we also find out? Ring the doorbell and see
Why,
who's
you
there.
want to put me on the spot again?
That's right, of course.
Well, we could try that. We could try that.
All right.
And,
let's do it.
I'm not.
Go ahead. Let's see. Just ring the doorbell. Oh, it's a. Here we go.
Hello.
What can I do for you?
Well, I'm Rod Fowler from Simon Fraser University, and we're making a film about gardens. And
gardens?
And we're looking at your garden here.
That's pretty nice of you.
No, wait a minute. We have to ask you a key question.
Which
Are
is?
you from southern Italy?
Yes, I am. But I'm not in the mafia, though, if that's what you want to hear.
What makes your lawn ornaments unique?
I think it's a hand painting that makes them unique.
In what way?
Well, we like to make them realistic, look human. We get a lot of comments on it.
What is it about these ornaments that you like so much?
Well, it's the satisfaction of you start from scratch. It's just the same as baking bread. You start with sand and cement and stone, and then you end up with a gnome.
You used to steal lawn ornaments?
That's correct.
What was it about the ornaments?
Well, we just found them very tacky. I mean, you know, and they're very ugly, and the whole idea of, you know, imitating something of, you know, a natural beauty, like a bird or an animal or something like that, and then transforming it into almost a cartoon-like, colorful $5 ornament that you would stick on your lawn. And we disagreed very strongly with that, basically. Very often we'd go out in the daytime with notebooks, and we'd make lists of the houses that had the lawn ornaments on their properties. We'd make lists of where the objects were located on the lawn and how many there were. We really didn't want the people to think that the lawn ornaments had just been removed by vandals. And we made sure of that by writing down their address, and then we would mail them a letter which explained our position. It said, you know, members dedicated to our cause found certain objects polluting your property. These objects were, and then there was a list, pink flamingos, you know, plastic swans or other waterfowl, squirrel with nut. And it said these objects were removed and their existence terminated. We never wore balaclavas or anything like that for fear of perhaps being shot, being mistaken for burglars or something like that. There was one incident when the occupants of the house were seeing their dinner guests out of the front door. You know, we heard, like, what the... They didn't have a clue what was going on. The legs of the pink flamingo went through the steering wheel and interfered with the transmission, you know, of the car. And so we put into reverse and we tore back past the house in reverse with the lights off in the car, and now the people were out in their front lawn. But I believe that was a dead-end street, so by the time we got to the end of the street, we then figured out the pink flamingos and then raced back past the house again. That I would call a close call.
What do you think about people who steal lawn ornaments?
I think they're goofs, wimps. They got nothing else better to do in their lives except steal other people's hearts and souls to putting in to make a garden look nice, especially in the city we live in, because we're very well known in Canada from the United States that Canada is a clean place and this and that. Of course, we want to make our houses look nice in front.
I just want to know, John, some of the people we've been talking to that have been stealing the ornaments think that the flamingos and the cows and that aren't very attractive. What do you think about that?
I think that's a big lie, because flamingos are beautiful. When they first came out, to be honest with you, I never knew what a flamingo was until it came out. Sure, you hear about it, you see it on TV, but you don't actually know too much about that bird. And when it first came out in the market, I liked it, and I bought it. Mother goes, that's a beautiful bird. Look at those shapes of those neck, the color, the beak. I said, it's a beautiful bird, I like it. We like animals, that's the way it is. I went up to Stouffville one time, and I seen this beautiful fountain with a little boy and a little girl, and that caught my eye. And what happened was, that reminded me of my mom when she was a young girl, because I seen the fountain with this beautiful pitcher of water just pouring out water, and I said, that's got to be for my mom. When I bought that little Cupid, I said to myself, well, I have to be lower than my mom because I'm her son. My mother's my queen. I have to cherish her. She's like a goddess to me. That water that's falling off her shoulder is the water of her love. She's showering me with her love. And I'm on the bottom, just receiving all that love, you know, and that's really touches me when I talk about that. Because nowadays you go out there and you see these kids don't really care about their mother. They're bashing their mother. Oh, my mother's this, my mother's that. When I see that, that hurts, you know, because if everybody had a mother like mine, everybody, like we said, would be rich, a millionaire.
Do you think, looking back, that you were a bit hard on the people?
Perhaps. I don't know. I mean, that's the kind of the nature of terrorism, and I think that this was a certain form of terrorism. We used to call it cultural terrorism or aesthetic terrorism, that we were trying to get a message across through fairly harsh means.
Some people get the idea that because they have a colored person on the lawn or something that they're against colored people. I don't know why they would get that idea, but I guess everybody's got the right to their own beliefs.
But you don't think that?
No.
By having something like that on your lawn, it's saying, well, I think that this is a place where blacks belong, like protecting and serving whites or whatever. Because that's where you'll find it. You don't find the jockeys in front of other minorities' houses. It's the white families, and I think the jockey represents something that a lot of people should be up in arms about, trying to get rid of. I don't know if maybe up in the suburbs you got extra money, so you figure, I'm gonna buy me the best darn lawn jockey I can get, and they get these big, huge things. So I finally got fed up of seeing these things all over the place, and I called up a few of my friends and said, guys, we have to get rid of these things.
Look at that. Come on. Jeez. Oh, this thing's heavy, man.
Instead of blowing up and yelling and jumping up and down and drawing attention, you're saying in a very discreet way, look, this is not acceptable. People all over the place are making a big deal about, oh, we're fighting racism, we're doing such a good job. The scary thing is it's going underground. It's not the old KKK burning crosses on lawns anymore. It's a lot more subtle a form of discrimination.
I would think this again is a Portuguese family's residence, but much older. They've been here much longer. The grotto here with the young girl is indicative, perhaps, of the Portuguese culture or Spanish culture.
What part of Portugal do you think?
Where there's a lot of the use of greenery and foliage, or perhaps northern Portugal, you know.
Maybe we'll never find out.
Well, this looks like it's a Chinese family's house, so I guess in this case I was wrong. This is a Chinese family home.
I'm Clint Balmforth. I'm the city attorney for the city of South Salt Lake. We have some requirements under the zoning ordinance that restricts what type of vegetation can be put in the area commonly known as the parking strip.
These sort of weeds don't constitute landscaping. It needs to be either grass, approved type of plants, certain species of trees, or brick pavers or something along that line. They can't just leave it empty and let anything grow in it. It's basically an unsightly mess.
What Truman Cope is doing is he's normally in the last few years been growing potatoes or beans or some type of vegetation out there, which he does all over the front yard and probably the rear yard too. Our ordinance does not allow what Mr. Cope is doing, never has. Last year we brought Mr. Truman Cope to court on the same issue, and this year he's right back apparently doing the same thing.
Is there a reason that you want to grow vegetables on your front yard?
Yeah, I like to show my neighbors how simple and easy to take food out of the soil, you know, with a little help from upstairs.
I believe that what the people who object to it are objecting to is the trashy look.
I just take care of myself, my own yard, my own property, and I just like to show people the way it's supposed to be, I hope.
Right. So you think
and they just have to do what they want to do.
Right. So you think this is the way it's supposed to be, your yard?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be clean inside and out. Everything you do have to be clean.
Oh, I just keep growing my garden and ignore their orders. They don't like people to give them any back talk. When they issue an order, they like to hear some heels popping and people snapping too, you know.
And you're not doing that?
Truman bless his heart, is an argumentative, consternative soul. He likes to cause trouble. I remember dealing with him when he, Board of Health went out to inspect one time, one of the Board of Health inspectors, and Mr. Cope punched him in the nose, literally. Knocked him off the porch, I understand.
They don't have any right to be dictating to people what they're going to plant in their front yard.
He has called me and the mayor and everybody else names that you wouldn't believe.
I just don't like them tampering with what used to be our freedoms. A lot of people don't know it, but our freedoms have been eroding for a long time, and they're eroding more all the time.
No, it's not ruin his right to express himself. You have no constitutional right to express yourself in that way in the parking strip, for crying out loud.
Well, I don't like the idea of going to jail, but it might help further the message out among the people. The thing of it is, the people are, as near as I can ascertain, they're all on my side.
It's the city's property. The city could go over there technically and remove them for him. The judge could hold him in contempt and put him in jail till he agrees to purge himself of that contempt and do what he's supposed to do. So there's a number of options. But, by the time you get him to court, the weather's turning cool. The vegetables will probably, commit natural suicide before long.
They just found somebody that can't fight back effectively, and they figure they might as well unleash all their fury on me,
But you seem to be fighting back fairly effectively, though.
Well, I guess I kind of hold on a little bit.
If the law as it now is written were to be repealed, there would be little or no control over what goes on in front yards. The problem with that is it doesn't protect any individual homeowner from any other one, you see. So I think there's always going to have to be probably some restrictions for man to protect man against man.
Roses are red, violets are blue. My plant is dead and I wish I were too.
My roommate from hell didn't pay her rent on time, almost got us evicted. So I killed her plant.
The fabric of the planet is now one plant less. I have brought it to this cemetery. I think I've done my best. The saddest part of devoting so much time and love and energy to one's garden was, what do you do with the garden at the end of the season when so much of it must die because you cannot bring it into your house? So with a little bit of thought and my love and respect for cemeteries in general, I felt the most honorable thing I could do for my plants was to create something that was life after death. You're hoping to capture one's imagination, and slowly but surely, out of the woodwork come people who have, a devotion to this plant or have something to say about their plant. Sometimes whole families showed up and they reminisced about the plants or what happened, through the plants dying, or maybe how it brought their family together. People thought, it was really marvelous, and there was still beauty there. And the beauty becomes fragile and ethereal, and it reminds us that there is life after death.
Hi, welcome to Tucson.
Yes, thank you.
The land of the sun, cacti, and rocks.
And you have them all.
Not all, but quite a lot of them, thank you. I've been collecting 30 years.
Harrison, can you give us a tour of your front yard?
Oh, yes. As you see here, we're approaching a little grotto. See the grotto here?
And what's in the grotto?
I call that Pancho serenading the ladies, which is amusing. I try to make little what's called surprise gardens. In landscaping, you should have what's like secret or surprise gardens. because it arouses people's curiosity as to what's around the corner next. Follow me and you shall see. This is called the Narrows, see? I'd like to make something new. I have to think of something else. I like to invent, make new things all the time. But here you see what I call a box canyon, but I put some bones there from a cow. Somebody gave me the bones, so I now call it Skeleton Canyon. They say landscaping reflects the owner's personality. So I taught landscape gardening at the Pima College, really, and also Tennessee. I taught landscaping several years before I moved here. And anyway, that reflects your personality, and you can see by this, I'm a rock hound. In other words, you got rocks in your head, see, which is fun. And I made many other people, all my friends coming here in my classes, they weren't rock hounds till they met me, and because of all this, they became rock hounds, you know, and that's very contagious. And there's no cure for that being a rock hound, because the only cure is to go out and collect more rocks, and it's contagious, so then you be careful, you might become a rock hound. So I put this quartz here at the side, because it's nice orange color. I like crystals because they shimmer and shammer, because they make you quiver and clamor. That's my old phrase.
You have a lot of these phrases, don't you?
Yes, I try to invent new phrases all the time. I like to share my things with my friends, because you can buy anything in the world, but you can't buy friends. I love my friends. They're more precious than gold, I always say. I learned that when I lost my parents. Because you can replace anything in the world, but you can't replace your friends.
Harrison, have you ever wondered what your life would be like without these rock mountains?
It makes, I think it would be boring and dull, because this really enriches one's life immensely, beyond comprehension. It's better than money, because a lot of people have a lot of money in the world, but they're not really happy. That doesn't bring happiness. What brings happiness is things like this, the appreciation of the wondrous beauties of the world. That's what brings happiness and contentment.
So who is Harley?
Her little baby.
So what did they originally tell you about Harley?
Oh, he wouldn't get to be more than 70 pounds. He was a pot-belly pig.
Miniature.
And how much does he weigh?
Oh, he's about 230. And he's not fat. He's just husky. He gets his feelings hurt really easy. He gets angry, and he'll tell you off. And, oh, if I'm, like, cleaning the house and I'll have the stereo going, especially if I put in Patsy Cline and I'm singing along with her. Well, I swear, he just follows me around. I see little hearts just shooting out of his eyes. He just loves it when I sing some songs. Yeah, he loves that.
I wouldn't be this happy anywhere else.
So there's happiness in all this chaos.
Oh, yeah.
When I met you, well, maybe he's a typical bachelor. The backyard was used for throwing your beer cans, and the front yard, it was like a dust bowl. And I'm just amazed, because every night he gets home from work, twice a week he's up. He's cutting the grass, he's pulling the weeds, and I mean, that's just not at all like the man that I met. He's changed a lot. From the pool shooting, beer drinking young man to a man now who knows all about antique glassware.
Yeah.
Can really spot a good bargain out at parking lot. Every Friday or Saturday night he comes home with flowers for me, and not just one or two. I'm talking boxes, huge boxes, because he knows the flower dumpster where the semis come in and they unload before they go off to the florist shops. You know, and they're long-stemmed roses like this. They have to be, and so it's really nice. Not many husbands bring their wives flowers, let alone a truckload every Friday and Saturday. You know?
Well, that's really nice of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost everything you'll see here has been found in a dumpster. There's all kinds of different dumpster diving. A lot of people have given it a bad name because they're thieves. They've used it to steal checks or that kind of thing. But we're just kind of like recyclers.
Yeah,
Most of the wind
stuff.
chimes, like the bullets, we found that in a dumpster. And all my water faucet handles, found those in a dumpster. I painted them red.
You gotta have a sense of imagination. You know, somebody might have used it for what it was intended for.
Yeah.
Turn it over and use it for something else. You know?
I see all this stuff thrown out when there's all these homeless here. And when was the last time we've bought any clothing? Years. And it's not that we're getting used clothing. No, we go behind like your shopping centers and they throw out, boxes of brand new socks. And I mean, why are they throwing this stuff out? It doesn't make sense to me. I like to make people stop and think too, But a lot of times it seems it just goes right by them. I don't know if they're just so busy. I don't know, people are just too serious, I think.
I was just wondering, how is it that you see people being too serious?
Trying to, live the life that's projected that they're supposed to live instead of doing what you feel like it.
The old fabled American dream,
Yeah.
which I think we were all lied to, I'm getting really dizzy. I strive just to be happy. That's my main goal in life. By the day I die, I can just be at total peace and happiness with myself. I'll have made it.
I've got a pink China pig. It doesn't make a sound. A big white duck that pours the tea. I've got a fish in the grass that'll someday swim the sea. I am what I am, and I have what I love to see. I've got a glass teddy bear, saving up mad money, and my bird of paradise, he can fly free. I've got a lion wearing marble as he greets the guests for me. I am what I am, and I have what I love to see. Yes, I am what I am, and I have what I love to see. I've got a sword and a gun hidden underground, marked by a fat red rose, so I don't mow over the top of my private inferno. I've got a porcelain horse waiting for some cowboy, and my panther crouches ready to flee. I've got candlesticks, crosses, and a shrine to say my prayers. So I am what I am, and I have what I love to see. Yes, I am